yeah, I'm the best Madden player. No one could beat me for money. Anytime they'd hear that, they'd give me a call.
How do you explain esports?
I am University of Oklahoma's head coach in Madden.
Happy about you playing video games?
Yeah, it's a pretty funny. Most I played for was about $5,000.
Damn.
Prize pool is about $100,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Let's see, the Madden tournament I just played in.
Welcome back to Be Frank Podcast. I invite industry experts to be as frank as possible so you and I can get behind the scene of unique jobs to learn and inspire from. I hope you can take away one or two things to grow your career and a professional life. Today we have Jonathan Tran, who is a professional gamer, University of Oklahoma's esports Madden head coach. I didn't know there is a professional esports in college. I hope you and you guys are excited to learn about esports industry. So welcome, Jonathan. Thank you for coming to
Oh, thank you
podcast.
for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah.
So, Jonathan, would you kind of explain what you do for a living?
Yeah, so I am the University of Oklahoma's head coach in Madden, which means I prepare the players to compete in tournaments that are national-wide. So that's my main job. I'm also in charge of recruiting for Madden, so I'm in charge of going through a lot of film of a bunch of different potential kids that we want to bring to OU and kind of evaluate which person we want to bring and try to get them a scholarship to come to OU.
Okay, so I have no idea your industry and I have so many questions, right?
Okay, yeah.
So let's say you're saying this is very new things for OU and the college. Is even a college or is that new things for OU?
It's a brand new thing for OU. So it just officially became a department at the University of Oklahoma a couple of years ago. Before, it was just a club full of just really inspired gamers that got together, formed a club at OU,
Gotcha.
led by Mike Aguilar, who became the director of the esports program at OU. So just now we're becoming an official thing. We're allowed to use OU's branding now and the logos and everything. But esports has been around for a while now. I think back in 2012 when I was graduating high school, that was the first time UC Berkeley had a League of Legends team that was on a full scholarship during that time. So the industry is slowly moving into the collegiate space now.
So those people doesn't understand esports. How do you explain esports?
Let's see. Esports is just competing in video games at a extremely high level. I think that's what esports would be.
Is that a game? Is that has to be a sports game?
No, it doesn't have to be a sports game. Actually, my game, Madden, it's a football game. It's actually one of the smallest esports in the space. One of the largest would be League of Legends, or there's a game called Valorant out right now, Counter-Strike, the traditional video games. So there's almost an esport for every video game out there, but it just depends on how big the community is, and that determines how big that specific esport is.
So the OU's esports program is for only Madden?
No. So currently there are, I believe, 6 or 7 what we call varsity titles, and those are the titles that we give scholarships out to the students to come play at OU.
So you tell me about that, a scholarship is as same as that regular football player, correct?
It's almost the same. So at OU, we have a really good director for our esports program. He tries to make it to where it's almost a full ride, right? But he tries to make it 80%. So that way the students that come in, they still have to remember, we're student athletes, so student first. So we have to perform in school. So if the student is able to perform in school, that 20% that's left over that they have to pay, it shouldn't be hard to get grants or scholarships for the last 20%.
Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So is that treated as the same as NCAA students, that they can't make money during the college and stuff?
No, actually. Well, the NCAA students now, they have what's called an NIL deal, so they're allowed to make money off of their likeness. Esports, in the collegiate esports, is such a new scene that there are no restrictions for that.
So a student can make money?
Yeah, correct.
So what is the kind of money they can make?
It really just depends. Okay, so I think where we're at in esports is not good enough just to be good at the game that you play. I believe there's so many other factors because there's so many different revenues to make money in esports. One, you could be really good at the game, win all these tournaments, and the prize money in the tournaments could be good enough. But the truth
Like,
is,
what's the prize money look like?
let's see, the Madden tournament I just played in a couple months ago. Prize pool is about $100,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. So I mean, the truth is not everyone's going to be good enough to really compete for a championship. You know, be at the top of the top.
Yeah.
There's different revenues such as streaming. You know, you might be able to stream. YouTube is a huge one.
Right.
I'm signed with Top Dog Madden. I don't know if it's okay to plug that. But
Go ahead. Plug
yeah,
whatever
so
you need.
that's my Madden crew. And so what we basically do is we create ebooks and teach people how to play Madden at a high level. So, you know, we create these ebooks and then people pay us. So that's another way to make money through esports.
Huh.
Yeah, so,
like a
yeah.
sponsorship in the ebook.
Yeah,
It's
they're
kind of like
sponsor-
just a regular content creator almost.
Yeah, almost. Yep, correct.
Sounds good. So like I was talking to my employee Tim. He was
Yep.
introduced me about, and I'm thankful you came. And then so some of the bio he showed me is that before you went to Oklahoma University of Oklahoma, you were playing underground money games.
Yeah.
Can you talk about this? Or?
Yeah, I could talk
Okay.
about that. So, really, how I made my name in Oklahoma City was I would go to these like barber shops. I would go to there's a clothing store that one of my best friends used to own over there on 12th and Penn. So basically what would happen is they would hear like people talking and saying, oh yeah, I'm the best Madden player in Oklahoma. No one could beat me for money. Anytime they'd hear that, they'd give me a call and I'd show up to that place
Really?
and we would be playing Madden. They'd shut the shop down or something. We'd
Yeah.
play after hours. And I'd be playing Madden for like hundreds to like, I think the most I played for was about $5,000 like cash game. And so that's where I made my name for myself here in Oklahoma. And I've never lost a game playing in person in Oklahoma.
So okay, let's bring that back.
Okay.
So you just get phone calls, so people know you're good at Madden.
Yeah.
So like some shop or whatever, like they're just talking shit pretty much. Say like I can beat this guy, whatever.
Yeah.
You get phone calls and then like you bet money or
Yeah,
like.
I'm betting money. Yep.
So you bet 5,000. Other guy bet 5,000.
The winner takes it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's it got to a point where there's not a lot of Asian people in that scene, right?
Got you.
And so it got to the point where I would get a call to go up to a game or something, right? And then the person who set the game up for me said, he's like, oh yeah, never mind. The other guy called and was like, is the Chinese kid the one I'm playing? And then when he said yeah, like they didn't want to show up. They stopped showing up.
Oh,
So,
because you're too good.
yeah.
So like you're like, okay, nice. So how did you realize? So I play like video games like growing up or whatever,
Yep.
like a little bit, and then some kid is very good, right? But
Mhm.
like it's not like, I don't know. Like, so what I'm trying to ask is like, when did you know you're like very, very good at what you do?
Okay. I think it was 2018. That was the first time I qualified for a Madden tournament.
Yeah.
That was hosted by EA, which is the company that makes Madden. They flew me out to Las Vegas to play in the tournament, all expense paid, like my flight.
So did they call
hotel.
you or did you apply?
So in order to qualify for that tournament, you had to be like top 50 in the nation by just playing online, and I was able to qualify like that, basically.
Got you.
And that was kind of like my first realization. But before then, I mean, I feel like I have the traditional route of every Asian kid, right? So I'm playing video games, and my mom's like, "Get off the game! You're wasting your whole life. What are you doing?" You know.
Right.
So I'm just glad I was able to find a way to monetize something that I love to do. You know. So
online, and then like you're top of the nation, like over 50. So they call you, they flew it. What was the experience on the Madden tournament?
it was like one of the best experiences of my life because so playing Madden, you're in this community, right? So all the top players know each other, you know. But flying out to a live event, that's what they call it, to where you play in person, and meeting all the faces that you'll see in like Twitch chats or talk on like Discord or, you know, over the computer, and meeting and seeing these people for the first time it's such a great experience, honestly.
Huh. So what did you finish? Where did you finish?
I lost in the second round
Yeah.
of that tournament. So, but yeah, the experience was good enough for me.
do they make only winner takes the money, or like a
No. So I ended up walking away with I believe $2,800 that weekend, just for, you make like $2,500 just for making the tournament, and then obviously the more games you win, the more money you make.
Got
potentially.
you. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was curious that like, so right now like you're a coach of the Oklahoma, right? So how do they like contact you, or?
So how I got introduced was 2020 or 2021. I can't really remember. But how that happened was I played in this college-only Madden tournament. This is the first year they ever did it. And I ended up being 16th in the world out of like 1,000-something players.
Wow.
I can't remember if I contacted OU or the director contacted me, but we somehow got into contact with each other. He basically told me that Madden wasn't like a esport that they had under the program yet, and basically asked if I wanted to help develop this program at OU. And so I agreed. Before, I had no plans on coaching, honestly. I just wanted to play the game, have fun. And yeah, now I'm the coach and helping develop this thing at OU.
That's
now,
awesome. So how do you coach the gamers?
Okay, so a lot of games, you can break down games. So really, even from a casual standpoint, if you record yourself playing and then watch the film back later after you're done playing, you can kind of examine like what mistakes you made. Like, oh, why did I do this here? Oh, how come I couldn't stop what my opponent was doing there, right? And so after you kind of create a list of all the different things that you want to either work on or don't know how to stop, you go into practice mode, and then you try your best to recreate whatever it is you couldn't stop or what you want to try, and that's how you get better, honestly.
Got you. So that whenever you were playing like growing up, did you do that to get better, or like what was it for you to make it? Because you obviously had to practice to get better, right? So what was?
Let's see. I'm growing up like from, I'd say second grade is kind of when I got into video games, right? Second grade up until like high school, I didn't really take it that seriously, but my main motivation to be good was I didn't want to lose to my cousin or my uncle, right? Like, I'm a competitive person, so whatever I had to do or learn in order to beat them or always beat them,
right,
that's what I did. Now, like later on into my esports career, YouTube became a huge thing. YouTube is such a great platform because you can learn anything from there, right? If you want to get good at a video game, you can watch a ton of videos and pick up on like what to do in certain situations. That's kind of what I started doing. And then I just started watching Twitch also and imitating the best players that I saw, or trying to at least. And then that's really how you grow your game. The more practice, the better.
So like, I was thinking about it. Maybe this is like nothing, but like, it's just like professional like sports players like have a drill, right? Mm-hmm. Like they have like a ladder or whatever. They put the feet up. Or like, I was wondering, like, do you guys like train the hand
fingers? I don't know. I know there are some like players that will do like stretches before they'll play for a long period of time. Yeah. So they don't like mess with their wrist, or like, I don't know. I don't even know if it works or not. I know I don't do it, but I guess before I play like a tournament game, I'll play a regular game to like warm my hands up. But as far as like doing calisthenics for my
Yeah,
fingers.
I was curious, like, they have like a reaction, or like, like, do you train your eyes, or what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was just curious about that kind of stuff. Uh, so do you only play Madden, or like do you play a bunch of games?
Right now I've been, because Madden's kind of slowing down because that's just how it is with the seasons. Madden usually really popular in the fall and then kind of slows down around winter to springtime. I've been playing NBA 2K lately. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I kind of like created a YouTube channel that I haven't advertised to anybody, just like creating content that I just enjoy making and just kind of doing it for fun.
What's your channel name?
SFFJ Tran on YouTube, but
Okay, cool.
I mean, it's not really any. I just post it just for fun, not really trying to grow it or monetize it really. So
Got you. So you have a regular channel?
yeah, that's it. I don't create any other content besides that. I've been slacking. That's something I hope to eventually do. Start streaming on Twitch and.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
you're
like
like
that.
a world top 16, and then like I'm pretty sure everybody wanna watch it. And then yeah, I was curious that so you could go from the esports coach in the University of Oklahoma, is that the only job you have, right? Or
Also, right now I'm working basically full time doing customer support. But I get to work from home, and it's the greatest job ever because being a full time student, working full time, and then doing this esports, you don't have that many hours. But being able to work from home has been a blessing because I'm able to study while I work or like practice on my game while I work, all types of things. So yeah.
like I was curious, like how, like what kind of like a salary, or like that esports coach make. I don't know if you can share that with us.
I can't disclose that, but it's definitely it's good enough to survive here in Oklahoma. Like you're not going to struggle here in Oklahoma.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So like if people wanted to get into esports and then get in to maybe, I guess, like join the program for you, like let's say like young kid is watching, like high school kid is watching this or whatever, what would you say, like how they can?
I feel like the best way is if you're a high school kid wanting to get into an esports program, I would say one is create like montages or clips, so that way whenever you talk to a coach, you can show them like, oh yeah, this is like my gameplay, right? So that way they can watch it and evaluate talent. Another thing is, for example, if you're going to University of Oklahoma, I would send an email out to show interest to the director. You can go there by searching up the OU esports website, and there's a contact email. You just reach out and say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm a senior in high school, and I really want to participate in collegiate esports. And then you just go from there.
Huh.
Yeah.
So how many hours like do you play games every day, or like?
Yeah, I play every day. Yeah.
Like how many hours?
It depends on what my school week looks like, right? So during midterms, obviously, I'm going to slack off a lot on the games, but whenever it's right after midterms or it's a lot of free time, I'll be on all night if I have to. Especially getting ready for a tournament, that's pretty much all I do. I'll be on for like 12 hours, if not more, a day.
12 hours playing video games?
Yep.
Damn.
Trying to be the best. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you play Madden for like 12 hours?
Yep.
So like, is that like online, but like like you're the best, right? So like to playing like online game or whatever, like how do you like contact like a people you play with regularly, or? So
in Madden, what's a popular thing to do is you kind of find a group of Madden players you want to play with. So for example, I'm in Top Dog Madden, which is one of the top crews in Madden right now, and so the crew is going to be full of other players that are at the top of the top. And so you kind of play each other and you practice, or you're like, hey, I want to try this. Can you get on the game so we can test this out to see if this play works or not? So that's kind of how you get better, really. Yeah.
Gotcha. So like, who's your favorite, I guess, team for football team?
Oh,
like the
team to
player,
use?
like a player to
Oh,
play.
okay. So my favorite team would be the Seattle Seahawks. That's where I was like originally born. So that'll always be my favorite team. My favorite team to use in Madden, which is different, would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady at quarterback.
Yeah, Tom Brady is a goat
The
still.
GOAT. He's still the GOAT. Yep.
Is that Tom Brady is your favorite player or?
I think he'd be my favorite player right now. My favorite player of all time was this wide receiver named Terrell Owens.
Oh yeah.
He was my favorite.
Yeah, you still. I'm not really sure like how the esports works, but like I'm so you going to so you wanted, is there like a professional esports after that, like
Yep.
from your career, like, but are you going to school, correct, for engineering degree?
Yeah. Yep.
So what is your?
What's my plan after
Yeah.
school? I'm hoping to take a full-time position at OU to coach. Right now, I'm kind of doing part-time, almost volunteer work, right? Because the program's so new, so there's not enough funding to hire the coaches full-time. But
Right.
with the plans that we have coming, I'm not sure how much of it I could talk about, but there's some big things coming to OU, right? So hopefully in the next year or two, there will be enough funding to where the head coaches will be able to get a full-time salary at the University of Oklahoma.
I mean, that's interesting to me because of OU is such a big football college, and then also I do see on like ESPN or something like that, I see esports, like
Yep.
people playing and on the chair and then like like they like showcasing, and then I guess that's how they get advertisements and all that kind of stuff to make money. So do you see that esports growing and like every year?
I do. The only thing that I'm scared of is there's a lot of colleges right now that see esports and they're kind of just dumping a lot of money into their esports program, but they're not putting the right people in charge, right? And so if you don't have the right people in charge of your program, the whole thing is going to collapse, right? In the next 10, 15 years, if these programs don't have the right people in charge, they're going to be like, why are we hemorrhaging all of our money into esports when it doesn't make us any money, right? I'm lucky enough to be like mentored by Mike Aguilar, which is director at OU, who's like really built the program from ground up with all the students, and he's done like an amazing job. In my eyes, in the next 10, 20 years, when esports at colleges is a big thing, they're going to look back at the University of Oklahoma as the blueprint on how to do it correctly.
That is awesome. So what do you describe as a right people in charge?
So the right people one would be the people that know how to grow a community, right? There's
like followers and
yeah. So like Mike puts it the best. I remember him telling me, you want to slowly build everything up, build a community around your program, because it's not going to matter if you have the best Madden player in the world or the best League of Legends in the world, right? If no one's coming to support, right? If no one around the university cares, then it's all for nothing, right? And that's why he pushes community as one of the pillars at the esports program. And that's the main reason why, because not everyone's going to be good enough to compete, right?
Right.
But a lot of people play video games, right? So you can potentially turn those into fans, or so you throw community events so they feel included, so.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're even like a best writer,
Yep.
but you can't sell the book.
Exactly.
It's like because like it doesn't say New York best writer, right? And it's like says New York best seller.
Yep.
So I totally agree with that. If you can sell stuff, and then if you have a best talent, I totally agree with what your mentor said, what you said.
Yep.
So that what about your parents are saying right now? You're saying like don't play video games, but like right now your mom and stuff is like happy about you playing video games?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's gone full circle, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, I grew up. My mom was like, stop wasting your life playing games. Like, it's never gonna help you with anything, right? So in 2020 or 2021 when I played that college tournament. I made it far enough to be on like the stream. Like there's a stream in front of like 1,000 something people. You know, I sent my mom the link, and then she has quickly became my biggest fan. So anything awesome. Esports related, she's cheering me on. She's like posting on her Facebook like anything I accomplish. It's like pretty cool. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So like you go into engineering school right now. So yep. Is that like for the games, or why are you going to engineering school?
Engineering, I'm planning on using as a fallback, right? Like I said, the esports industry is so new. I could hopefully become a full-time position at OU, or who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years, right? And what happens if, as a full-time coach, I can't live up to the expectations to succeed, to help the program, right? And then I get released. That's why I needed the college degrees, because if I can't find another esports job after that, without a degree, it's going to be tough for me to live. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not saying like don't chase your dreams or anything, but it's just me personally, the way that I know, I need to have that safety net. I can't go all in on something like that.
I mean, I respect that about you, and then you're doing that stuff. And then also you're saying going to a tournament, you play 12 hours a day or whatever, right? I mean, like even you're going to school, and then I think a lot of like a listener, a lot of people, like, you know, says like they don't have time to do anything, right? They're busy, all that kind of stuff. But if you prioritize your priority, and then like you can take a time to do it, and then whenever you're going through tournament or something like that, you do that, and then like I'm pretty sure you're putting your time to engineering degree. If they have a midterm, you do that. And then whenever you have a game tournament, you're doing that. Yeah. You know, so
I mean, I have to sacrifice. For example, like when Madden always comes out in August, right? So up until that point, I haven't had a haircut in a couple months. I got one because I knew I was going to be on your podcast.
Thank you.
So
looks nice.
Thank you. Nice. For like 3-4 months, I go without having a haircut because I'm in grind mode. I don't even go out. I don't go out to the bars with my friends. Like, it's almost like I disappear. I fall off the face of the earth a little bit, right? The only person that could really get in contact with me is like my girlfriend or like my parents. During this time, like the only thing I focus on is just going to school and perfecting my craft. Everything else I don't really care about. And so I have this like gross chin hair that like grows in all scraggly, and then like my hair is really long, and you know, like I wear the most basic clothes. Like nothing about my personal appearance or building my brand from a visual standpoint even matters to me. Anytime I leave, it's pretty much to go to school, or if I go to get McDonald's or something. Besides that, I'm at home. I don't leave. I don't talk to anybody. Yeah, so it's a lot of sacrifice in that, because you miss a lot of memories, right? You miss a lot of creating memories with your friends that I might not be able to do later on, because, you know, I'm getting a little older to the point where like my friends are starting to get married. Like you see Tim just got married, right? Yeah. And so like your married friends later on aren't going to want to go to the club or to the bars or stuff like that as much, right? So
I mean, Tim will probably go.
Yeah. But I'm sacrificing that time that I could be making memories with them to chase my dreams, you know what I mean? So it is like, oh, he's just playing video games for 12 hours, but yeah, like I say no to going out to a lot of different things and stuff I get invited to, just so that I can make sure I'm the best at what I do.
That's awesome. And then so like, do you do the same thing to yourself, that whenever you're playing 12 hours a day, you record it about like your game, and then you take a notes? Or
yeah, I do. A lot of times for example, if I lose online, I have the whole game recorded, and I'll hop in Discord with my crew or someone that's in my crew and break down the film and be like, yo, what did I do wrong? Like, how did I get beat? You know what I mean? Like, what did I miss something? Right. And sometimes another like pair of eyes on a situation will help you, because sometimes right after you lose, oh my gosh, I get so mad. I've broken so many controllers, blaming the game. And so like if you're tunnel vision like that, you're not going to be able to see your mistakes, right? Because you're going to blame like, oh, the game was bad, that's why I lost. But you're not in a mindset to take self accountability. That's why I bring in another pair of eyes to look at it and be like, yo, you actually messed up. Like you could have did this better,
Got you.
So
Is that pretty rare you lose online?
no, it's not as rare as you would think. Madden, in my opinion, is kind of like in a bad state right now. They just continuously, they don't make the game competitive.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of RNG, just a lot of random things that happen in the game, right? So in this year's Madden, even the top level players can lose to quote unquote nobodies this year just because of how much RNG is in the game.
RNG meaning
random things that will happen. For example, sometimes you'll catch the ball. Sometimes your player will miscatch it even though he's wide open, and that's just from a random number generator that's in the code of the game. And so for the game to be good, you want to take out all the randomness, right? You want to feel like, okay, I know exactly what my opponent's doing on defense, and so I'm going to do this on offense, and it should work every single time. But you'll get like weird different animations that will mess you up sometimes.
Oh, so that sucks.
Yeah, so I do lose a fair amount of time online, yeah.
But like probably you win more than you lose,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool though. So, I mean, you're talking about, like you might miss some memories or whatever. So that my mission for this podcast is something like that. You're an expert. I mean, you're world top 16 or top 16, you say?
Yeah.
And then like you are very capable and qualified to tell people advice, but like maybe what I take approach is that I am capable and I'm like can tell my advice to a 5 years ago myself.
Yeah.
Then I think the 5 years ago me, if he knows what I know now,
yeah.
and that it will kind of help. So that's kind of what I want to do with this podcast and the YouTube channel, to help that 5 years ago me.
Yeah.
So what about, do you have advice 5 years ago yourself?
Oh, man. I honestly don't know. Because, like me...
Were you playing that underground money games for 5 years ago, or?
Was that 2017? Yeah. I was. It's hard to say, right? Because I've messed up a lot in my life, right? I've fallen way more times than I could count, right? Like my mom's had to like help me out of situations a lot in my life. But would I go back and not do any of that stuff? Probably not, right? So like, for example, 2012, that's when I graduated high school. So that means 2016, around that's when I should have graduated college, right? But I dropped out in 2015. I just wasn't ready for school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no direction in life. And then I started, messing around in the streets, well, I can't say too much, but, I was just acting a fool in the streets, right? And then I was able to come back in 2018 to go back to college. I started at Rose State, then I transferred to OU, right? And all that's just to say that, like, if I were to do what I was supposed to do, go to college in 2012 and graduate in 2016, I wouldn't have this opportunity that I have now because OU esports is such a new concept, right?
Yeah,
so my life would be completely different. Like, obviously, I wish I could, like, go back and tell myself, like, you got to stop messing up so you don't, stress your mom out and stuff like that, right? But every time I've fallen, I've gotten up a lot stronger, and I've learned, taken all my L's and turned them into lessons, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's beautiful. And then, but what made you go back to a college, to a Rose State? You say you went to 2018, right?
I just realized that I needed some kind of purpose in my life, right? I wanted to be a productive member of society. and like what I was like doing, running around in the street, stuff like that. That wasn't gonna end up good. I was gonna either probably end up in jail or end up dead or something. I needed to do something. Plus, I was getting older too, right? And so once you start seeing your friends from college, they start like they graduate and then they get full-time jobs, and then some of them are getting ready to get married. And you kind of sit back and you're like, man, I can't be this reckless for my whole life. I need to be able to come home to something. I need something stable, right? And so that's the main reason I went back to college. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, like, honestly, whenever I went through like tough times, and then like, yeah, I wish I wasn't there, but like, I take it as like a lesson and then learn.
Yeah.
And then like I went to a dark times, and a lot of people, like a supporting group, like my mom, or like, my friends and family I have around, and then they were telling me like I shouldn't do that and all that kind of stuff. But end of the day is like, you have to realize yourself that, hey, you're fucking it up, you're not doing good. And then like you realize that you change the course, and then like, whatever your thought process doesn't really change your life. Thought process helps, but if you actually take the action to, then like you can change your life. But I totally believe that, like what you said about that. I think it's cool that, you can look at it, and then now you're not in jail or like, dead. And then now you're doing this stuff, and then beautiful things. And then, but what about 5 years? What do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh wait, to go back to the 5-year question, the only thing I'd probably tell my younger self is to keep dreaming, like never stop dreaming, right? And everything happens for a reason. So if you're not where you want to be yet, it's because the road isn't over yet. Like it's not over yet. So just keep dreaming. Where I see myself in 5 years, I would hope to transition from coaching into a director position, like my mentor, whether at OU or another college, helping build a program. My best friend and I, we're planning on creating a business together that basically is going to help high school esports players connect with college coaches, because there's probably thousands of kids out there, right, that want to go play at some college. And there's probably thousands of colleges that don't know how to reach and find these amazing kids that are good at the game, right? So we're hoping to create a business that's going to be able to bridge the two together, so.
That's awesome that you guys can provide like a scholarship and stuff too.
Yeah, kind of. And then eventually I want to create a foundation under my grandma, to honor my grandma. To basically help fund these underprivileged schools. So like the inner city, Douglas, for example, Northwest Classen, US Grant, a lot of these schools that, don't get enough funding, so they'll never be able to create esports programs, right? And so if we can go in, help them create an esports program, one, we help keep kids off the street, right? And two, we help create an opportunity for them to get a scholarship, maybe go to school, like change their life, graduate with a degree. So that's kind of that's probably more than 5 years, probably like 5 to like 10, maybe 15 years for all of that to be done.
Do you think that this kind of like esports is generating more fundings to college and then like community, even like industry wise, right? So because like it used to be there is no esports, in a way,
right?
So like so those people who can be an athlete, college athlete, it'd be to actually play football in like NFL or like play basketball in NBA. And then, but like, a lot of people say like if you can dream it, like, but some certain humans cannot make NFL or NBA, exactly. Right? Like if they're like if my size, to try to be NBA player or whatever, it's kind of hard. But like that, having esports and then like it just give people opportunity to pursue dreams. Like, is that something that your program think about, or like do you agree with that statement, or?
Yeah, that's yeah, I agree because OU, for example, right? They don't just give scholarships to competitors, like being the top at your game, right? Mike's created scholarships for people that are community leaders in the esports community, like helping to throw events to help grow our community. There's broadcasters, right? Because when you watch a Twitch stream, there's going to be announcers. There's going to be people that are behind the scenes, making sure the stream is going well, right? And there's going to be esports journalists. So Mike's I think he's broken it down to 4 pillars or 5. I can't remember how many, right?
What's the 4 things, do you know?
So community, competing, casting, which is like announcing a stream, or so like, for example, you and I will play a game against each other, right? And say Tim is the announcer. He's like announcing what's happening in the game, right? So that would be casting. Another would be esports journalism. So these people would go out and cover esports news or what's happening, or, oh, OU's Madden team just won the national championship. Let's cover that, for example, right? And these all lead to help funnel our students into real world jobs, whether in the esports industry or not. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, like everything is related to a community.
Yep.
And then building that stuff. So so it sounds like you like being like a director, coach, and then like also like do you like doing that more than playing, or like as a player?
I love to compete, right? I was born to compete. I'm competitive in anything, whether like I like, even if it's like a foot race down the street, I'm going to try my hardest to win no matter what I'm competing in, right? But I think there comes to a realization with competing is that like eventually your time is over, right?
Is it though? Like for like esports?
I know, right?
Like
It sounds silly though, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like real athletes, your body gets older and you're not going to be able to jump as high or run as fast, right? And so people think like, why is this guy retiring from competing in esports? Oh,
Yeah.
don't you, all you do is play games?
So, I mean, like I would like to get into a little bit of the future of the esports.
Okay.
What do you see the future of the esports will be?
I think that's pretty hard to say because it's kind of like an industry that doesn't have a ceiling right now, right? For example, FaZe Clan. I don't know if you've heard of FaZe Clan. It's a gaming, basically a gaming team that just hit Wall Street. It's a stock that you can buy now.
Huh.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. It's untapped. You don't know where anything is going because, for example, we don't know what the technology is going to be like in the next 5 to 10 years, right? What if they create some kind of virtual reality technology to where instead of playing 2K or Madden with a controller, you're able to run around and pretend to shoot and pretend to dunk, like all in virtual reality, and it feels
Like a
real.
metaverse kind of.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know. Like, will esports eventually take over traditional sports? Who knows? Because I don't know, maybe by the time I have kids, you know, especially like something like football where like CTE is a real thing, where like brain damage from all that stuff or risking injuries that affect them for the rest of their life. You know, maybe like I'll be pushing my kid to like learn how to code and then practice playing video games to try to get scholarships, instead of like when I was growing up, it was like I was trying to be the best basketball player so I can get a scholarship to go play at OU or something, you know? So it's really hard to tell, but I think the rate it's going, it's going to be a crazy big industry. Yeah.
That is crazy to think about, like have kids to encourage to play video game to get scholarship.
Right.
I mean, like, so like there's like a MLB, NFL, NHL, and then like all the
Sports,
sports, and then I think, I don't know if I'm correct, I think Major League Baseball players still makes the most money.
I think so too.
I believe.
Aaron Judge is about to make a lot of money. So,
yeah, so I was curious.
Uh-huh.
So as esports, what game makes the most money?
Oh, it's League of Legends, hand down. I don't know, maybe after you should look it up. They just had their world finals, right? And they had like a crazy storyline. So the best player to ever play League of Legends, right? And then versus this other team, and the other team had this up and coming player, and turns out those kids both went to the same high school, and they filled out a whole arena. There was like thousands of people in this one arena watching them play video games.
Damn.
So like, yeah, League of Legends hands down is the biggest esports in the world right now.
That's crazy. Do you know how much?
$2,225,000.
2,200,000.
Yep.
250. 2 million in quarter
$2,225,000
in one game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like if you're like telling like kids to play League of Legends or like play Madden.
I think I would be telling them just play whatever you enjoy, right?
That's the right
To
answer,
get to that level, right? To even be like the best in the world in Madden, like I haven't even reached that level, right? To be in the top of the top in anything is the same. I think it's probably your chances are probably less for being the top League of Legends player in the world than it is to make the NBA or it is to be the next Lil Wayne or Drake. I think your chances are like about the same or less if you want to be the top of the top League of Legends player like that.
Wow. I mean, like it's kind of
Yeah.
same thing, right? I mean, what you're talking about is like if you're gonna be the best, you have to put time and then practicing 12 hours a day. I mean, like an NBA player, they practice so much, and then I mean yourself too. You know, you're playing so much.
It comes from like having love for what you're doing, right? For example, like once Madden becomes feels like work, that's gonna be my time to step away, right? Well, I feel like that. I think that's kind of like how I live my life. I don't plan too far ahead, right? I like to live like day by day almost, right? I don't really like to think too far ahead of time. I don't even like to think about what I'm going to eat tomorrow kind of thing, right? I like to enjoy the moment. So it's like once I stop having the love for what I'm doing, it's time for me to move on to something else, right?
That is awesome. I very much respect what you said. Yeah, I mean, do you have any plug for us, or where can they find you, or how can they support esports?
Let's see. I think if you want to get good at Madden, topdogmadden.com. You could book a personal coaching session with me. I'll give a discount if they use code Frank or something, or just send an email.
First sponsor, did you guys hear that? Let's say use the code Frank, and then what did you say?
Yeah, I mean, if you send an email saying like, "Oh, I saw you on Frank's podcast," then I'll definitely give a discount on my personal one-on-one coaching session. I kind of want to shout out some people if that's cool with you.
Yeah, go
right?
ahead.
Shout out Darion, Bird, Quinn, Scissorhands. These are kind of like the people that allowed me to play in their shops underground for money and kind of like show me like, oh yeah, you're the best in Oklahoma, right? And these are like some of my friends that even when I tell you when the game comes out, I fall off. Nobody knows what I'm doing. Nobody knows where I'm at. But these are friends that like have stayed my friends. They're not like, dude, you never hang out with us. Are you even my friend, right? These guys are always cheering me on, wondering like, oh, did you make the next tournament? Like, how have you been doing? But I talk to them once in a while because when I'm locked in, I don't talk to anybody. So shout out to them for always, being by my side and supporting my dreams. My girlfriend's been very supportive. It's like, man, I don't know how she can do what she does sometimes because whenever I'm on the game, I don't talk to anybody. So she'll probably sometimes only talk to me for like an hour or 2 hours a day. If anything, it'll be like a FaceTime where the camera's facing up to the ceiling so she doesn't even see my face and we're not even talking because I'm just on the game, but just having that connection is pretty cool. So And
Is
my
she a
mom,
gamer too?
she's not, no, but she's like very supportive on any crazy dream that I have. She's a big supporter in. So
You gotta keep her.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off about
you're
your
good.
mom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mom. She's my biggest fan now. She loves to brag about me because we always have this joke that like, whenever I was messing up all the time, and you know how Asian culture is like, when there's that black sheep, everybody's like, don't be like him, right?
Yeah.
So back then, my mom never really had anything to brag about me. You know what I mean? It's always been like, no, don't talk too much about him. But now, like, I'm giving her like things to brag about on Facebook or to her friends or like cousins and stuff. And the last person would probably be my grandma, who passed 2 years ago now, I think. She was the dreamer in the family, right? She came over here and like had these huge dreams. She did everything from like being a real estate agent to owning a jewelry shop here in Oklahoma to a laundromat to like an egg roll company. Like she's done it all. She's even taught at Norman Institute, like that trade school over there. She taught jewelry making and like
Awesome.
she's and even until the day she passed, she was like always wanting to learn something or always wanting to start some kind of business. Like she was always dreaming big, and I think I got that from her. So yeah, and I think that's the end of the list, really.
That is awesome. I mean, honestly, like it's kind of cool. Like I can relate because like I grew up in the Asian family too,
Yeah.
and then like my dad's side of family was all doctors, and then they want me
Yeah.
to be a doctor
Yep.
and all that kind of stuff. My dad is not a doctor, but anyways, like they want me to be that kind of person. But honestly, whenever I'm wanting to come to United States to be a movie director and that kind of stuff, that was the reason I came here.
Mhm.
And then my mom didn't stop me. If you can go there, if you can pass the test to be an exchange student or something like that, and then you can just go there. And then she didn't stop me.
Mhm.
And then I appreciate the support. And then now like I'm doing more so of the social media and the YouTube stuff.
Yep.
And then like something she can share, right? And then
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
she can
Brag
talk about,
Yeah.
good things about. And then I think it's just a lot of people says like social media and stuff, some good and bad and stuff.
Mhm.
And then like I think that what you're talking about, a lot of people says like a lot of Asian parents probably still to the day telling their kids to don't play video games, right?
Yeah.
But like there is always other side of the coins.
Mhm.
And then hopefully somebody's listening to this this podcast can see, not be like closed-minded, like
Mhm.
open-minded, see the possibility of what could happen. And then like if the kids is actually playing and then they put in their work and then going to college and then having family, and then what's their place to tell them to not to.
Yeah.
I think it was very, very like interesting story you have, and then very, very encouraging things. And then some kids are probably lazy playing video games.
Oh yeah. No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not like, when I was a kid, I was definitely just playing video games. I didn't think like, oh yeah, I got to be the best at Madden at 12 years old, because that wasn't even a thing, right?
Right.
Like, who cares if you're the best back then?
Yeah.
You know?
But I think like if the parents have a love to the kid, and then I think they will know that's like a laziness, or
Yeah.
they have.
There has to be a good balance, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be making like all F's and then like being on the game all day long and then expect your parents to be cool with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to put in your work so that way they give you some leeway to do what you want to do.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean everything in life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like also, I just want to ask a last question,
Okay.
like that. So underground, the game, like it's so interesting to me. Like,
Okay.
what was like a kind of can you paint me a picture and story like
Okay.
what is like you play like is that like a living room situation?
Okay.
Have
so,
like a cash on the table, like a stacked up, like
Yeah, yeah.
what is like?
Okay, so these are like this. They can't get dangerous, right? Like for
I bet.
the ones like that I played in those shops, those are the safest. Because like for example, Scissorhands, who owns the barbershop,
Yeah.
he's like one of the most respected people in Oklahoma, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I
no
heard
one,
of him.
yeah. So yeah, that's like one of my big brothers, right? Or Darion, who he owns a store called Trendsetters in Penn Square Mall now,
Yeah.
right? But his shop used to be right there on 23rd and Penn or something like that. But these are like really respected members of Oklahoma. So like, and these are people I look up to as like a big brother, and they look at me as a little brother, right? So they're not going to put me in these positions to like potentially, risk anything. But I've been to like random people's houses that I've never been, right? I like playing in these environments sometimes get crazy, right? Because one, you're focusing on the game, you're trying to win, right? And two, you're kind of have your head on a swivel because you're looking at who's just walking in, who's walking out, or like what's going on here. Like, like sometimes like these situations like is you don't win when you win the game. You win when you make it to your car and get out of there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some of these spots can get pretty crazy.
You go by yourself or you go with people?
Sometimes, I always go at least one friend, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to a place you don't know, even one person is not going to help. Like if they decide like this whole thing was a setup and they were going to rob you, it doesn't matter how many people you bring. You know what I mean? I've just been lucky enough to where,
That never happened?
I've been in one situation that got kind of like sketchy, but I mean, I've been all right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Is there anything else you would like to talk about?
I think I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. And then this was Jonathan. And then everything about what he plugged in, it's going to be in the description. And then hopefully everybody learned and then took away something from this episode. And then, always be frank. And then see you guys next time Friday. Like and subscribe and comment. See you guys. Peace.